Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Biz Buffet, right? Where it's all about small business stories. And we are excited because every week we are bringing to you a different guest. And today's guest is one of my former classmates in Rutgers EPI, Entrepreneurial Pioneering Initiative program, which is a mouthful for a year-long boot camp that is one of the most successful and highly coveted opportunities nationwide. We were part of the cohort 15. And so it's really exciting to bring Anubha Bhatla here today. She's a mechanical engineer and she runs the Curiosity Lab. And just before we even get into all of that and what that means, I'll give you a hint. We are fellow STEMinists.
Yes.
Anubha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Laura.
Well, talk to our audience a little bit. Paint the picture here for those that are listening, because some of it will see the video, but a lot of people listen on the podcast. Paint the picture. You're sitting in your brand new, spanking, amazing Curiosity Lab facility. Describe to us what you're good at, who you are, what Curiosity Lab does, and all of the wonderful things you do for parents and their children in STEM.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Let me give you a quickly. Of course, I'm Anubha and I founded Curiosity Lab in 2015. It was founded. It's basically a hands-on STEM-based, STEAM-based, now the A is in there, based
Yes.
discovery and learning program for kids. And our mission is to keep curiosity alive in children, and hopefully reignite it in adults eventually. So we offer a lot of classes, after school programs, robotics, uh, school break camps, even birthday parties that uh,
Hmm.
you know, still focus on curiosity aspects of our business. So, like I said, the primary goal is to have hands-on learning. So if you were in our lab, people would be on have their own individual trays. Every child gets their own individual tray and their materials. So the focus is on experiential learning rather than just me telling you what to do or using instructions, you know, to just build something or do something. Because, over time I observed when you go to learn soccer or you go swimming, nobody gives you a manual. Say, here's the manual, go
Right.
swim. And unfortunately, we continue to do education like that. When education, first started, schools, public schools, private, when schooling as such started, historically, you have to look at it. We were trying to school managers and people who would just do bookkeeping and accountants, but the world has changed so much, and unfortunately education hasn't kept up. So it's our effort to keep that curiosity in children that they have when they're very young. If you see very young children, they're very curious. They want to ask questions. They want to know so much. What Miss Nuba, I get strangest of questions. What happens when we die? And we just kind of brush these things off, right? Where do we go? Like all kinds of things. Like kids will ask all kinds of questions. And I feel like, and you go to a school, what's happening there? We have sheets and worksheets and worksheets, and we're just doing math and then ELA and then this and that. And there's very schedule based. And the real world, you and me know, is not like that. The first day of work, nobody gave you a folder. Here's your folder. This is how you're going to do your job. You got to hit the ground running. So our goal is to bring those 21st century skills that are truly needed in people and provide this environment that encourages, that education. So.
Well, a couple of things, because you said a lot of things in there. So, first, on the STEAM, putting the A in the arts in the STEM, agreed. Although STEAMinists doesn't have the same cachet that a STEMinist has. So, there's that. And then, as far as parents bringing their children in to supplement their education, they need to, because you're right. Out there in schools, everything is so rote, so prescriptive. Do this, do that. No scheduled downtime for thinking, for creating, for hands-on. And as someone who created an e-learning platform, and we saw the rise of it during the pandemic and really the fall, you see that you need these, right, to connect to this and to be connected to people in the room to learn.
Absolutely. Like you said, the rise and the fall. So there's resilience in there, right? Children don't have resilience. If you don't have any open-ended activity, you're never going to build resilience. I see the first timers that walk into the lab who are used to school-based learning. You give them like a simple open-ended problem, he's just panic, right? Like, where's the instructions? What am I supposed to do? Some of them, some are ready to go because they've been waiting to escape that environment forever. They're like, oh, I can build whatever I want. I can try, like I can. And so they love it. But also, you want to prevent this from happening when they end up in college or at their workplace, right? Uh,
Right.
Inevitably, life is such. So yeah, you're right. That's I think the need of the hour. And I wouldn't even say we're supplementing education. I'm just we're just bringing to uh, the for another way of looking at education. What does
Mhm.
education? I almost want to shake up the whole education world and say, we need to rethink how we do
Yes.
education. And I hope one day Curiosity Lab is going to be like something, or some of our ideas are going to be part of every school in America. That's my big vision. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be wonderful? Not only a big vision, it's so necessary. And you talk about resilience, just that quick, this little sculpture here, just for those like talking about resilience, it is forged from steel harvested from the 9/11 tragedy in New York City,
Oh,
the buildings and the steel. So I look at that every day and go, yeah, right? That is testament to resilience. And as small business owners, boy, you've got to have it. And we're doing our kids a disservice to not give them the latitude to experiment, to be curious, and to fail, right, in a safe way so that they learn, oh,
absolutely.
okay, well, that didn't work. Now I'm going to try my next business idea, my next one. And 35 efforts later, right? Like Van Edison, who did the light bulb, right? How many was it? 1,000 until one light
100,
bulb finally lit up?
yeah.
Or
I keep
some,
telling the children.
right?
Not like you just went in and joined things based on instruction and oh, lo and behold, it worked. It doesn't. It never does.
No. So to that end, so we are agreed that resilience is a really important skill for small business owners. But would you argue that it's the most valuable skill that you've learned, Anuba?
So as a small business owner, yes, I mean resilience is up there in one of the most, that ability to hang in there when things get bad, because inevitably they will. I mean, you and me, everybody knows business never goes the same way. When you think you've got like this smooth sailing, something comes along, the pandemic.
Right.
We were ready
Mhm.
to expand at that time. And so, I think resilience, every business owner needs resilience, that grit,
Mhm.
that things are gonna be okay. Just hang in there and keep trying different things and something will work. Because if you give up, there is no business left. So yeah. And I think the other skills, definitely a lot of balance between uh, for me personally, a balance between planning and quick action, like that
Mm.
separation. When do you take a quick decision and just move? And when do you actually sit and plan? So at different phases in my business, there was sometimes that I just had no time to sit and think about it. And I'm a planner by true nature because, like you said, I'm an engineer. Engineers like to plan everything. Every project has to be planned out in detail. But sometimes, like business taught me that there was no time to. I had to just go and hit the ground running. I'll give you an example. There was this one time we were trying to launch this after school program in one of the public schools, and the coordinator there, she said, it was like a small town and they were charging very less, like a nominal fee up till then for the last 20 years, like a $40 class. And our class was like a $200 class. It was a jump. And everybody in they were like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. Like, where's the details? Who's going to sign up? The parents are used to this. And I remember somebody telling me, like, let's just try it.
Mhm.
Let's just go try it. And, I just put it out there. And you will not believe we had this overwhelming response where our class was full within the first 2 days. The waiting list was full. And so the parents were the ones that, the need was there. It was just waiting.
Right.
And I think if I had waited and planned, and that opportunity would have just walked away, right? And we would have never been where we were. So I think that I learned early on that there are some times we just cannot wait. You need to take quick decision. And then other times you need to plan before you put, when you do advertising, when you're doing your sales strategies, when that customer walks into your door, do you have a product? Because some people
Right.
overpromise too much, right?
Yes, and
And then
under
they
deliver.
and underdeliver. So it depends on the situation. And I think that comes a little bit with practice, like with, I mean, there's no right rule where when should you take quick decisions and when should you, but overall, if you're pitching to parents, and at least you should have the ability to, deliver something in a short period of time. Like, yeah, that
Yeah,
I,
well,
as a small business owner, definitely. And discipline with time. That was my big learning, to box my time,
yeah.
protect it, because as a small business owner, you wear many hats. There's so much to do. You just always have something
Mhm.
on your plate. And I'm a mother of two children, so I always like there's other personal commitments. So discipline with time is key. And we live in the world of social media where a couple of hours online, like boom, like I have no patience for, like, I just put my phone away. It's just like gone. If somebody's desperate to reach me, they will make an attempt, they will call me and I will, but otherwise I box my time. If I'm doing something, that's got to be done. So that discipline, I think I don't think you can survive in a small business without that. Like I learned it the
No.
hard way. Yeah. Yeah.
I always say that you need really three things as a small business owner or entrepreneur. One, ruthless prioritization, right? Because everything's on fire every day, all the
Absolutely.
time. The second, radical optimism. You have to believe tomorrow will be a better day. All of the stuff I'm doing today, I will harvest at some point,
Absolutely.
right?
That's
And
part
the
of the
third,
resilience, right?
adaptability.
This ability to say, look, there's gonna be the sun is gonna shine tomorrow, even if
That's
right
right.
now everything looks dark. That's optimism. I mean, I think
Yeah,
optimism is in there in resilience. Only the, you
sure.
know, only the resilient people, they always see that but they're gonna make it happen at some point. Yeah.
And I think it's really a very interesting insight coming from you, an engineer. Typically, everything has to be 0.999999, right, percent. That you've
Yes.
said as a small business owner, you've learned that you have to flex and balance that deeply planful, detailed to the 99999 with the quick decision, make it happen. I've never heard anybody say that, but I think it is absolutely imperative and speaks to that adaptability that we have to have because the world is changing around us so freaking
Correct.
fast.
Dora. And I've used that strategy after that multiple times because, after I offer that class, now I know my abilities and I will not
Right.
overpromise. So that's critical, of course. But after that, there are so many times where I see this need arise in the market and I'm like, we need to put it out there now. And we put it out there, and if the customer comes, we will build it for them. So we've learned to manage that. Like, and if there's no customer, what's the point? Like you plan something and you're no demand for it and you sit there building it for like a whole year and then you put it out there and nobody wants it. So I feel like this short, like even now, like now we've gone into, we're trying to do surveys in advance. Go ask people, do you want this? How much would you pay for it? That doesn't cost anything. So, like a lot of small businesses, at some point with this market, the way it's going with AI, you would have to pivot or move or
Mhm.
change things up a little bit, right? So I think it helps to see where the market is because if there's no market, there's no point in building whatever it is that you're offering. So
Right.
that
It
I think,
it
yeah.
yeah, it's critical. Like I said, I have unofficially declared March as Market Research Month. And it's so important and we've got things that we're doing in that. But you're right, you've got to keep up with it and know. So back to what you had said. So you launched in 2015, so it's 2025. So first, 10 years,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Less than, right? 8% of businesses make it to 10 years. So
And we survived
big,
COVID, the pandemic.
there's
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
It's we have that Christmas ornament that, we survived the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, but it's the same thing, right? It should be hanging in your curiosity lab that you guys survived COVID. right? As an in-house hands-on entity. That's huge, huge,
I
huge, huge.
I think it's a testament to our resilience as a team, the people who are here, it's just, yeah, and
Yeah,
optimism, like you said.
right?
Yeah.
Adaptability, all of it. So that said, Anuba, if we roll it back to 10 years ago, has your definition of success changed? Because I know you've had children here along the way and you've had COVID and all these kinds of things.
I
So,
actually started my business with children, so it was even
oh,
more.
you had both when you
I
started.
had
Oh,
both.
okay.
I had
I
both.
see.
Yeah.
That's very
So,
brave.
I mean, I don't think like we'll talk about it, that too. Like I didn't fall into like I fell into business. I wasn't one of those seeking out what can I start and make money. So I think when you start off, I think that goes to say that's how I think you start off a business, you think the money is everything. That's all, how much gonna move, what's the sales, what's the returns, how many years till this target, you have all these sales targets, right? Growth targets, and life throws stuff at you. And
Yeah,
through the pandemic, we bought a building that we were trying to turn. It was going to be up in 8, 9 months. It took 3 years for that building to open. We still had to go back to our old location. So there's always life will throw stuff at you as a personal level, at a business level, obviously. So I think to me, success is definitely this ability to grow personally and as a business and keep moving in the direction that is your final goal. You may not like check your boxes. Of course, I think if you have an investor, it becomes a little bit harder.
sure.
I had the ability to just, I started with a certain amount and then it was very organic. Whatever the business made, we put it back into the business. So I know if you have an investor, I think it's a little bit, you have to measure success definitely more by financial success. But even then, I think there's scope where you can there can be other benchmarks. Are we growing in that direction? Are we, making progress in that direction? So to me, that helped me stay resilient too. And, and also to be able to like, am I able to still, do I still think my product will succeed eventually? Maybe I'm reaching some roadblocks. Maybe, that mindset, I think if you can develop, that's a measure of success for the business saying, to me, that was, I know success is a very complex.
And
To me,
personal
growth
thing.
is, growth is success and the journey, and as long as, of course, you can keep yourself afloat, you
Well,
know.
there's that, right? And so again, rolling it back to that 10 years ago when you started, would you give yourself advice? Like if you could go back and write a note and say, Dear future Anuba.
Yeah, to me, it was like, I think definitely believe in yourself first and
Hmm.
foremost, because I didn't. I didn't think, and I still remember the time where uh, there was this grant that Wells Fargo had. That was 2015. We just started in February. I had incorporated as Curiosity Lab, and then there was this grant going out somewhere uh, mid 2015. Wells Fargo Project Works had this contest where for small business owners to grow. And I was like, I'm so small. Should I apply? And I remember my daughter coming in and saying, Mom, how does it matter? Like, what's the worst that can
Wow.
happen? They're gonna say no, right? And so that really hit me, in a very deep place. And I remember taking a whole week off, Laurelyn, and I just
Wow.
wrote and I wrote and I wrote and then I remember writing 9 drafts. I still have them in my folder, the ninth draft, and then the 10th one was that went out for the application. And we won $25,000. We were one of the finalists. And by the end of the process that I was done, I knew we were going to make it. Like, even before
Mhm.
we won, just going through that process, because it made me actually dig in and look at myself in the mirror and say, do I have the skills to promise what I'm saying? And when I truthfully looked, I was like, yeah, I think I can do it. I mean, I survived grad school in engineer. We survived so much, right? So I think
Right.
believing in yourself, definitely. Like, don't give up hope. Even if you think that are not working,
Mhm.
that positive mindset that you were talking, it can take you places. It just
Right.
can. And then, that becomes the stepping stone for the next thing. And then, like Wells Fargo then gave us this push. It was validation from the outside world that it would work. But before you even reach that, you need to validate yourself and say, yes, you can do it. And I don't think you can, to me, I would say, that's the message I would give to myself if I was there. Like, don't even wait for other people. Just believe
Yeah.
that you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It it's so true. And you need those positive forces around you. It's wonderful that your little girl, right, had the foresight to say, Mommy, come on, do this.
I don't even know if she
And
had
it's
foresight. She was just
right,
saying what we taught her, right? Like we teach these things to children, but we never look back and see
right,
how we doing it, right? And she was just, we keep saying, right? Go try, honey. It's okay if we say that to children all the time.
right.
But in big things and small, and including business, I think that applies. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who would think Tesla or all these space rockets, things that are built, like at some point you have to start with conviction only and
Right.
conviction and this dream, right? That's where every business starts. This dream and this conviction that you can do it.
That's right.
And the stronger the conviction, I think the faster you're gonna progress and succeed. Because I feel like I took a long time because, like you said, I was like, oh, I have kids. Like, am I gonna make it? Do I have the time to give to this business? Can I meet the metrics, the financial goals? So yeah, sometimes when you just believe, things just happen, they happen. So yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, keeping those positive forces around, just so I love like all of my founder friends who go through different things and you hold each other up and lift rather than being exposed to people that are toxic within your world who are constantly finding ways to rip you apart. You've had a bad day, you failed this, that. Like I've had a lot of that too. And so
They
it's just
always
so
say
nice to
for
oh,
they
escape it.
always people, I see around me, even with children, people always say that for there might be 100 voices saying you can't do it, you can't do it. There might be
Right.
only one that says you can. You have
Yeah.
to be that voice, in my opinion. It's like if you're the voice that says I can do it, nobody else matters, really. It doesn't matter what people are saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Filter out the noise. Right. Focus on you, right? What you want, what you think you can do. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just keep your focus on what don't worry about because people come from, their point of view. They may not see what you're seeing. They may not see. So they may be just like looking out for you, saying, oh, be careful. If you fail, you're gonna get hurt, which is what. But then big dreams don't come true like that.
That's that's right. Now, you see it from the lens of children who are learning and growing and at a very critical juncture in their lives, and you see it from parents who are supporting and nudging their children along through your STEAM classes. Have you seen anything in all of that journey that's really wackadoodle, completely counterintuitive, that you should have done this, but you thought like that would never do, but that was exactly what you needed to solve the problem? You've seen anything really out of place, incongruous like that, Anuba?
I mean, I remember starting off, like even when we went through the Wells Fargo program or all these like business classes that I took, everybody's trying to teach you a method, right? Like uh, go launch a lead magnet, and then people will come, and then they'll put their email there, and then I met this business owner who's like, "Oh, this doesn't work. Just do your job well. Your product will sell." And I was like, oh, that sounds so wrong. Like I need to do, you
Yep.
feel like you need to do something other than, there's a lot of now it's getting more organic. I see. I think, but there was a time where marketing was so
Mm,
structured, right? And I remember just going out there and like I was telling you my story, right? We just put our products out there. And
right.
Laurel, and I can tell you it's only now that we opened our location that I feel the need for sales and marketing. It's all been 100% organic. All my flyers
Amazing.
failed. all the advice that I got said, oh, print all these flyers. We got no leads. People said, go put Facebook ads. We didn't even get one person. But this one mom that went and told 10 people, people are just walking through your door and they trust you already because somebody told them. So I would definitely say don't undervalue uh, this power of word of mouth. Just people telling people. Could be online now with social
Oh, yeah.
media. Could be people telling people online. I saw somebody talking about a restaurant, just saying, "Oh, I went there and my daughter drank this smoothie and she was vomiting within a half." That will kill your business, right?
Yeah.
Like, so don't, you know, going back to the old thing, saying keep your customers happy, focus on your product, focus on your service more than the fluff, putting out flyers. Yes, I mean, I'm learning the hard way to balance it because I think then I realized, okay, it's only organic. No, I think it's probably a balance of both. So that I think because early on it was like, oh, send flyers, or it just people will come. No, people need to trust you, especially could be because of our business where it involves children, right? So trust, building trust with customers is bigger than you
Huge.
think. And I think in the current market where the new generation that's coming in, they don't trust brands. You have to have a story to tell. You have to trust your brand. If they don't, then it's not going to work. You may have the best product, but if your story they don't like it, then it's not going to work. So that I think we did so many lead magnets, is that nothing worked. Even Facebook marketing. Every time I put a Facebook ad now, I have to think 10 times, is the budget justified? Because I
Mhm.
think there's a range above which, if you really want to go blitz marketing, I think on Facebook it would work. But I think that's another advice that didn't, it threw us off completely. You have to have a big Facebook marketing budget, then you will be seen and heard because there's a lot of small voices out there. So if you think you're going to spend like 100, $200 and somebody will, no, it's not. It's going to be unseen in all that flow of social media, which is just drowning everything at this point.
Mhm.
And there's AI. A lot of us have not even touched it as a tool. We're just trying to use our old methods. And AI can wipe out all that advertising, and like that money's just gone down the drain, especially when you're a small business just starting off and every penny counts, then you have to be careful. So I think if you were in that situation, it's better to put energy into your product and to actually deliver what you're doing so that the customer that goes out and try to get repeat business, because will that person that walks out, are they willing to come back even? You know,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
That's, oh, I have so many things. I was chomping at the bit. I'm like, ah, yes, yes, because that's just it. We're all sold this bill of goods as small business owners, right? Buy my book, buy my method. Here's the lead magnet. Use this software. It clicks, does everything for you, automatically puts everybody in to your CRM, automatically nurtures, sends out the emails, does this, does, and you're just like, ah, and then, oh, the ads, all of
There's
this.
some
Oh, yeah, your
formula.
reach.
Yeah.
Right. Use our formula. This is how you beat the algorithm. This is it. Oh my God. I am so beyond and over it. And so many other small business owners that I speak to are as well. One of the, well, he's a friend and a support consultant. He's an expert in Google Ads. And he's always saying, Laurelyn, if you don't have 5,000 bucks a month for Google Ads, don't bother. Just don't bother because anything less than that doesn't even get seen. And
So the
that's the
first
thing. When
page,
he,
you're not on the first page. And nobody scrolls statistically to page two, page three. I do when I do research, but I'm one of those nerds. And if I'm
well,
looking
you
for,
are that, right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I think that, yeah, for sure.
Well, as we're winding down our podcast here, so you've given so much advice. What would you like small business owners or parents of kids considering, oh, yeah, should we send our kids into after school and summer enrichment programs, STEAM and STEM, whichever letters you want to focus on? What's the advice and insights that you really want to put out there, Anuba, for everybody?
I mean, my advice is always to stay curious because I feel
Mhm.
like curiosity is the starting point of everything. Considering children, if you're in business, sometimes when I get really, really stuck, on something, I always have to take a step back. And you think like working too much is the answer, right? Just work hard, work if you were working. Sometimes it is, sometimes it is. I mean, I've outworked a lot of people sometimes to just succeed. But sometimes when you're really stuck, to me, the solution, my advice is to step back and look at try different ways of looking at the same problem. If you see
Mhm.
all the big inventions that were made, I was at some uh, university program this weekend, they were talking about Velcro. Like, who would think of
Mhm.
a unique solution if they just kept thinking the same old way? Sometimes the old way doesn't work, especially in today's times. Like the old ways are going to collapse at some point with AI. Everybody will have to think a new way of dealing with whatever's, everything's going to be reinvented in the business world, I feel, the way. So I think look at the problem like with differing points of view and see if you can like you were saying, like reach out to other people who run
Mhm.
businesses. Look up and see who are the people. And this is another thing that I realized, when if you have a problem, there's someone out there that already solved
Right.
it. And we underestimate that, right? Like there's somebody who has the answer to,
Right.
and we're in a very, very connected world right now, more
Right.
connected than we ever were. So if you cannot reach out and, find that, it's because you're just sitting, put yourself in a box and you're like constantly
Right.
brooding over the problem from the same perspective. So definitely spend some time pondering solutions and then see if there are other ways that you can do it. Then make a list of what are the 5 things that I can do that might work, and then just go to work, like I said. First one, go try it. Don't sit around. Once you have your list, don't sit around and ponder anymore. Just try the first thing on your list. And worst case, it doesn't work. Give yourself a time box time saying, okay, we'll try this for this many weeks, 2 weeks. Doesn't work, no results. Plan B,
Next.
plan
Yeah.
C. And definitely reach out to people because you see, like you have this podcast now. There's so many voices out there, and somebody may have an answer for your problem already that you don't have to, reinvent the wheel. Because I was,
Exactly.
yeah.
I got stuck a few weeks ago. My Instagram got invaded by bots.
Oh
And
my,
every time I would unfollow shirtless, hairy men with random names, I'd unfollow a couple of hundred, and then the next morning I'd be following 1,000 more. I'm like, get out of here. Like, what am I doing? I could not figure it out. So I tapped the internet until I found some expert who said, yes, this is the problem I solve for folks. I'm like, bring it on, right? Just bring it on. Help me. I'm not going to keep spinning. I've been trying. I've tried to fix it. I can't. Help me. Just fix the problem, right? So it worked. And so
oh,
I'm
it
I'm
did.
very happy
Yeah,
about
I
that.
would
So
love to hear
that's
about what you did because I think all of us are gonna face these problems at some point. These bots invading
yeah,
everything. Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
it's insane. Well, so last question. My signature question. I always, we've seen each other. I love shoes, right? People know this. And so if I got to peek into your closet and the audience got to peek, so you've got to give them a guided verbal tour here, and they looked at all the footwear you had in your bottom of your closet, high heels, boots, flip-flops, whatever, sneakers, whatever it is, what's the one pair in there that says, I am Anubha Bhatla? It just speaks to your personality, your attitude, your everything. What are we looking at, Anubha?
I think lately it's been my Cole Haan shoes, right? They're stylish. For me, footwear has to be, and I'm always on my feet like the whole day with kids or just running around, doing my stuff. So they have to be functional and comfortable, but they have to be stylish. So that's my Cole Haan shoes, and that's my favorite like pair of shoes like ever. Everywhere I have to like run out, that's what I wear. Of course, I love my heels every now and then, but those are Cole Haan too. But yeah,
There you
functional,
go. See?
comfortable, and but stylish. Yeah.
So functionable and fashionable, right? Functional and fashionable. Right, there we go. So, Anuba, where can folks find you and the Curiosity Lab?
We have a website. It's called kidscuriositylab.com. And of course, you can reach our email anytime. I love to hear from parents, people. info@curiositylabusa.com. If you want, I can type it for you and put it in your uh, messaging later. And we love to hear from you. Our phone is on there. I mean, of course, I prefer email on the website. You can, you know. So
Sure.
we'd love
And
to
your
hear
physical
from you.
locations, because that's important. Where
Yes,
can kids go?
we are in Secaucus, so you move to a new location. It's 830 Munford Street in Secaucus. We have a nice lab. We have a little Lego lab in there, a big hands-on learning space. So, and we do birthday parties now. So check us out.
Excellent. And Secaucus, New Jersey, it's right there, right at that hub for all of New Jersey transit. So easy to get to. And if you don't want to drive
Yes.
on the turnpike or anything,
No,
easy
very
peasy.
reachable. Even from New York City, we're 10 minutes from the city. So by train, absolutely.
Easy peasy. All right. Well, thank you very much, Anuba. I'm really, really glad to have you on the show here today, and you shared some tremendous insights for our audience. And congratulations again for being one of the 8% that makes it 10 years in their business. And it's no surprise that you have, given all of the insights and the things that you've learned and shared. Thank you, Anuba.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.